Well, hello. Welcome back to another episode of Rob's Readings. So today I found something in my journal that I wanted to share. And let me just go ahead and share it. Or I should say read it. When feeling overwhelmed, I always remember the best and only real adventures always start with the first step. And what happens in between is always hazardous. Without uncertainty, and then forging on through that uncertainty, there is no real satisfaction in the adventure. It's the process of life materializing beyond doubt through willing the goal into being, through un-faltering desire and courage, which turns any reward from a noun into its actualized state, quote, rewarding, unquote, which is now actually closer to a verb with its own life, which is an embodiment of that realized goal. So, I'm sure that probably is, kind of makes sense to some folks, but maybe to others really doesn't at all. So first off, let me just preface and state that I am an entrepreneur. So what that means is I need to be very aware of myself. Some days we just don't feel like getting up, right? And some other days we're kind of like just not on our game. Some days we're crushing it. But we have to average out the days that we crush it with the days that we aren't feeling so good as entrepreneurs. That way we're able to maintain some sort of consistent performance. And sometimes that's not enough either, because depending on the way a person is an entrepreneur, the markets in which they're being that entrepreneur may change, and sometimes you can't do anything about that. So all you can do is control yourself, and hence the journal. So I find that it's really wonderful for me because it allows me to kind of use my right and left brain together, and it helps me to create meaning in a way that when I'm not actually aligned in the way that I would like to be all the way, I can then make sense of something that I wasn't able to before. And then it allows me to be able to release whatever that emotion might be. And I guess essentially what it is I'm bringing thought and feeling together and creating a meaning. So when things are invariable, that's how I go about doing it. And this particular passage I'm just speaking about in general, how when you're having a hard time, it's important to know that, hey, like, what movie have you ever watched or that has an adventure in it? I think life itself is the adventure from birth to death, right? It's like our biggest movie is us individually. And so that's a long movie. We could watch another movie and we could see that movie, and if it doesn't have a climax and then a letdown, or whatever it is in film school, they have like the breakdown of the storyboard, what makes a good movie. If not all those elements are included, then it's not as great. So that's what I try to remind myself of on my adventure. It's like, when have I seen a movie that didn't have a struggle involved, essentially, that I really liked, that was about an adventure anyways. And that's what it is. It's about being able to look at yourself as the person in that movie at times, and then release yourself from your current space by creating a meaning that makes sense for you as an individual. And this is how I do mine. So on that note, really, I am just grateful to be able to share some of these things with the world. And hey man, if nobody sees it, that's okay. And I'm doing it for me. And if somebody gets something out of it, one person, someday, sometime, well, hell, that's worth it, man, because I think we're all supposed to be coming here to give our gifts away. And one of my gifts is being a weirdo and sharing, being available and vulnerable to share my weirdness. And that is awesome for me. And just so you know, I'm a musician also, so I have that musician's brain, and I've developed software and take computers apart, and I'm a real estate broker and a million other things. So I'm kind of a Renaissance guy, and these things kind of help me pull my world together as I have so many interests. So on that note, I wish you all a wonderful day, and thanks for tuning in for another version of Rob's Readings. Have an awesome life and day. Cheers.